Welcome back to another episode of Toxiris Discovers. Today we got 7 albums, 7 suggested by the community, no albums by myself. I'm proud of y'all. Let's get this for the next episode as well. So comment some albums down below, all genres, hip hop included. Let's get it.
It's the game, we done came on the game.
So we are starting off with the album that gave this video its title, Ed Sheeran Divide, suggested by Lorsum, who already teased the greatness of this album in his comment. And I have to say, it is absolutely legit. Like, this album has fantastic production. His vocals are obviously great. He's obviously talented. And honestly, I can't really say that much other than this album is one of the best I've ever heard. Motherfucker, nah, hell nah, bro. This shit is fucking ass, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm not surprised this shit was released by Asylum Records, because although it is called Divide, it has probably multiplied the number of people inside insane asylums. This album wants to make you feel all sad and oh my god, she left me, oh my god, I'm so lonely. Just to want 2 songs later throw in something like, yeah, now dance, be happy, motherfucker, be fucking happy. See, this project is trash. Yeah, he might have a bit of a vocal talent, but the songwriting sucks, with a couple exceptions. The lyrics suck. The lyrics literally don't really switch up. It is boring. The production is not really sticking out as much. Like this album, okay, I'm just keep it at that. I have no favorite tracks on this album. I have nothing favorite on this album. All I can say to this album is that is a 3 out of 10, and we're moving on to the next one. Fuck this project. Now we get into projects that are slightly better. I mean, all projects on here are better than this one, but that's not that hard. The next project we got is SOLUS by Yunmakai. I don't know, man. I literally don't know. Suggested by Zhao. That's how you know nobody knows this shit. Well, I listened to this project, and honestly, there is not much to say about it other than this is legit just carried by the production. There is nothing else on this project that I find interesting, entertaining, or anything else besides the beats. The flows are okay sometimes, but nothing that would keep me engaged or keep me interested for a long time. The production is really interesting and really good though, so for that and for the little bit of flows that are okay and the little bit of enjoyability that is in there, other than that, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. These 2 would overall be my favorite tracks on the project. Then we get to the next project, Herbie Hancock, Handhunters, suggested by Kieran Cartwright. This one is a jazz project. Before we get into rating it or whatever or whatnot, I have a quiz for y'all, okay? This album has 4 tracks. How long do y'all think it is? I'll give y'all 3 options. A, 20 minutes. B, 35 minutes. C, 42 minutes. Now, if y'all got your answers ready, let's reveal it. 42 minutes in 4 songs. And honestly, I know I complain about that for other projects when they have like really long songs and overall just not that many songs on the album, but the album is still long. But for this one, it is honestly pretty interesting, and it fits pretty well because as it is a jazz project, there aren't a lot of lyrics. I think there are close to none. Sounds really good because the first track, for example, is 15 minutes long. You have like the couple instruments that everything is built around, and then slowly the track is developing and new things are added, other things are being subtracted, and that just makes for a really enjoyable and interesting listen. I mean, I kind of felt like a 50-year-old listening to this shit and cleaning my room, because I sometimes do that when I listen to music like this. And but besides that, it was a really enjoyable album. I don't think it's something I would bump heavily outside of the album itself and outside of a listen where I have to listen to it, just because it is pretty boring after a while, but that's just because I'm not used to listening to jazz. And as I've mentioned multiple times in recent episodes, I'm not the biggest fan of music without vocals. But still, I think it is a very solid project, and I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Then we get to the next project, which could be suggested by Sheeran, but it's suggested by Syphic. Bladee, Working on Dying. I had the Drain Gang project on the most recent episode before this one, and well, what can I say? I was pretty disappointed by that one. This one is just, I got what I expected. It's not outstandingly good, but it's not disappointing either. I think on the front end, that Young Lean feature wasn't really it, but the second Young Lean feature was really good, and even Echo 2K delivered a solid feature. I'm sad Thai Boy wasn't featured on the album at all, but I can live with that. Yeah, I think it's a pretty enjoyable album. Bladee does what Bladee always does. I mean, it's not like anything outstanding, but it just sounds really good, and he does have a couple tracks on there that are enjoyable here or enjoyable there, but it's overall not that outstanding, but still good. So this one as well, 7 out of 10. These two would be my favorite tracks on the project.
Still in the night, but I'm coming back. Backstreet Boys, get it tight. Blow in my nose and I'm riding in the coupe. Got my shawty with me, so you know what it do.
Well, with that being said, let's get to the next project, which is SG. I Still Don't Feel None, suggested by Philly Pow. I don't know if that's his name. I don't know if that's how you say it. I don't give a damn, honestly. As we had an SG and 42 Dugg project on the most recent episode, funny enough, one of my favorite tracks on the project is featuring 42 Dugg. Let's get to my favorites right now.
Feel popping if I did stop, then I missed one. 55 Zoski shooting drive, we ain't scared to die. Wake up break day and let his blick spread. Send the J to scope out niggas' plates. That's a trick play.
As I had that collab project by him and 42 Dugg on the most recent episode, I really enjoyed that one. And when I got this one, I was like, yeah, I might just enjoy this one as well. It has surprisingly good production, because usually rappers in this genre of rap have pretty repetitive and pretty stale production that does not really carry them at all. But on this one, he has really interesting production that makes already pretty enjoyable deliveries even better. It's obviously nothing crazy, nothing mind-blowing, but I was pretty surprised by how enjoyable, first of all, the production was, and second of all, the delivery on a lot of tracks. I do think this album has a lot of skips, and is overall, there is no track on here where I'm like, okay, this is a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, but all the tracks are good, solid, and yeah, it's overall not that bad. So I would also give this one a 7 out of 10. Then we get to the second to last project, which is Yungeen Ace, Dada, suggested by a local Locase, however that name is said. Bro, y'all need to give me like a tutorial on how to pronounce y'all names, because goddamn, I'm slacking. Anyway, Yungeen Ace project, Dada. I always, like, when I hear Dada, I usually just think about NLE Choppa. I don't know why. I think he used to say that a lot. Anyway, this is another Yungeen Ace project. I've heard a couple now. I think I've heard like 3 or 4. And this one is pretty enjoyable. He does have a couple hard tracks on here, like harder than I am used to from Yungeen Ace, because usually he's pretty melodic and not that hard into it. But he is on here as well, obviously. But he does have 1 or 2 hard tracks, and I can enjoy them. I enjoyed the King Von feature, which was the only feature, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, overall, it's just the same thing with most Yungeen Ace projects. Like, all the tracks are enjoyable. While you listen to the project, you'll have a good time. But because they're all enjoyable and they're all pretty similar, afterwards, I had my issues and I had difficulties picking out my favorite tracks, just because all tracks are solid, but there's not that many standouts. Now, I picked 2 favorites, but they're pretty exchangeable with a couple others. But these 2 would be my 2 favorites right now.
They keep on asking why I promoting the violence. Them niggas pussies and they bitches, they ain't never caught it body. See, I been thinking that, cause where you come from in the hood, it ain't no good there. Niggas robbing cause they struggling, it ain't no help there. Screaming.
Yeah, and even besides these tracks, as I already said, it's a very good project. Lyrically, it's obviously always pretty much the same thing, not that much switch ups, but it's okay. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10, and I think it's a solid project. With that being said, we are getting to the last project of the day. Mac Miller, The Divine Feminine, suggested by GGS. Not that much to say about the project, other than it's fucking fantastic. The production is fantastic. The features are fantastic, and basically everything about the project is fantastic. The only problem I have with this project is that some tracks feel kind of like, some parts in the tracks feel kind of empty. I know that having a pause in there, leaving a bit of just a beat, that's alright with me. I have no issue in that. But I feel like sometimes it feels kind of forced to me. And that's probably the only issue I have, because the features are fantastic, the hooks are fantastic, the production is everything is great about this project. Just a little bit that kind of itches in the back of my head. Besides that, I cannot really say anything more to that. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Will you stay? We don't need to worry, we ain't in a hurry, rushing into love.
Thank y'all for your suggestions. Suggest some more for the next week, and have a great one.
Remember back then, all them hoes ain't want me. Now I'm ballin', all them same hoes on me. Mama told me that this came with the money and the motherfucking fame, even though I feel the same. I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now.